Hello again. We are now ready for the third differentiating problem. I'll just remind you again that this notation for the second one, we're going to do question 3, but for question 2, when you have a little 2 above the s of cos or above the n for sine or whatever, that is the same as the cosine of x all squared, and that's just a notation thing. Okay, away you go with question 3.
Alrighty, so keeping that in mind, like at the derivative of this, we'd go, if I can speak properly, that'd be great. The function for the derivative of x, just function for x in other notations for question 3, we'll do that. The function for x on its own can also be written as cosine of x squared. Therefore, the function for the derivative of x is equal to 2, drop down, so we have 2 cos x squared multiplied by the derivative of what's in there, which would be negative sine times the derivative of that, which is 2, so it'll be negative 2 sine x. Bring that down. We have the function for the derivative of x equal to negative 2 sine x times 2, be negative 4 sine x, 4 sine of x cosine x squared. And would I be correct in assuming that much?
You've got most of it,
Alrighty.
but not all of it. So let's just have a look at the bits that aren't quite there. Maybe if I do mine in a different, if I use a different colour, I'll go do a bit of blue. The first part was absolutely right. When you let's go up a little bit. To write it that way is the first thing to do. Then definitely the 2 comes to the front, times that to the power 1, multiplied by the derivative of that inside bit. Now this over here, now the derivative, if I do it separately over here, I've got to find the derivative of the cosine of x squared.
That's where I went wrong.
And that's what it was that bit on the inside that wasn't quite right, because the derivative of that will be negative sine of x squared multiplied by, again, by the derivative of that inside part, which is the 2x there.
2x.
So it's very similar to what you've got here, but there'll be an x there, and there'll be a squared along with that bit. And that's the only bits we'd have to change. So I think with this one in our final answer, we would have an x involved in that, and that would be an x squared up there.
Yeah.
And then that would be all of it.
Now there is a way to factorize that, because I recognize that from my formula sheet.
Factorize it.
X squared cosine squared. Surely there is.
Well, not really, because we just got a sine of an angle and cos of an angle, and whilst we could, I don't think there's a nice way of making that looking any simpler than it is there. But you're absolutely right to think about that, because often with these things, we've found that they like to do, perhaps slightly unusual simplifications with the book answers, don't they? So you're absolutely right to think about it, because sometimes they do. I think in this case, I would probably just leave it like that. But,
Alrighty.
But yes, good to think about. Okay, that's the last one. All done.